Hello and welcome to Tommy Talks TV, the place to be to build great love relationships. I'd like to start by saying a very big thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments on Facebook, on Twitter and on YouTube. I really appreciate you because you're helping us spread the message further faster. So thank you very much indeed. Now today I'm going to talk to you on a topic that I have titled How to Enjoy an Intimate Marriage. Now, one of the main goals of marriage is to be intimate with your spouse. In other words, to be close with your spouse, for your hearts to really be knit together so you actually become one. And the formula for intimacy in marriage you will actually find in the book of Genesis chapter 2 and verse 24, when the whole concept of marriage was introduced by God in the first place. So this was after Eve had been created for Adam, and as soon as Eve was introduced to Adam, then God spoke these words. He said, "Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave or be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh." That there is a two-step process for enjoying intimacy in your marriage. Now let's talk first about the aspect of leaving. So leaving is really crucial if you're going to be able to become one with your spouse. The Bible says a man shall leave his father and mother, and that also applies to a woman as well. Now, most of the time when people think about this, they think just in terms of geographically leaving the home of your father or mother, but there's a lot more to it than that. The first thing to remember is at that particular point in time, there were no fathers or mothers because Adam and Eve were the first people created. But God was simply trying to set a concept in motion that people need to understand, that in order for your marriage to work, not only do you need to separate yourself geographically, but you should be thinking about separating yourself mentally and emotionally from those who were the most important in your life before your spouse came into your life. So the character and the nature of other relationships around you need to be adjusted to make room for the marriage relationship. And that simply means that your spouse needs to become the number one person in your life. So sometimes you find out that because people have not actually emotionally left their parents or other people that were really close to, they find it hard to become close to their spouse, even though they're trying, but the marriage ends up dysfunctional because what they're trying to do is that you're trying to drag your parents or your family along and cleave to your spouse at the same time. There's no doubt that family has a part to play in marriage, but there has to be a change in the nature of your relationship with your family if your marriage is to work. So how do you know if you've actually succeeded in leaving, or if you haven't succeeded in leaving rather? If you haven't succeeded in leaving, there are three telltale signs. The first of them is when significant things happen in your life and the first person you think about to share it with is not your spouse. That means you have not actually succeeded in leaving the other people. The second thing that is crucial is when the opinions of other people weigh more heavily upon your heart than the opinions of your spouse. Then that also means that you probably have not succeeded in leaving. And the third thing is when other people around you, so your family, your friends, do not respect the boundaries of your marriage. So they feel that they can call on you and anytime, they can make demands on you on any time, they can be disrespectful to your spouse without there being any repercussions at all. It means they don't respect the boundaries of your marriage, and if you allow that to continue, that simply means you have not succeeded in leaving. So if you want your marriage to be successful, you need to alter the character of those relationships, give them their due respect and due regard, but recognize that your spouse must come first. And then the second aspect is the aspect of cleaving. So when you leave, then you're ready to cleave. You're ready to now begin to be joined to your spouse mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It's something that you have to constantly work on a day-to-day basis. And a large part of it is actually communication, spending time talking to your spouse, learning about them, understanding what matters to them, and opening your heart up to them as well. Cleaving is something that you have to constantly work at, because the natural tendency in marriage is that if you will drift apart if you don't make up your mind to constantly pull together. So you have to constantly make up your mind. Even if you've been married for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, you have to make up your mind to consciously pull together as husband and wife, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically, so that you can enjoy the intimate marriage that God has planned for you to have. So the formula for intimacy in marriage is this: leaving and cleaving. I hope this has helped you. If this has helped you, then please leave me a message on Facebook or Twitter. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer, then head on over to tommytalks.com/ask and I'll answer your question next time. See you next time. Bye-bye.